Hello and welcome to the Rocker Dog Podcast, the show that aims to be a dose of positivity in your life with musicians saying the nicest things about their dogs. I'm your host Tim Dill, and my force of positivity is my dog Charlie, and in this episode we are delighted to bring you our chat with Caroline Smith, who performs under the name Your Smith and will be releasing her first new music in over 5 years with her new LP called The Rub on September 12th. And this is her small town bartending rocker dog.
This is Howard. Come here, bud. He's like, what did I do?
Poor
Come
Howard.
here. Oh, he's got to do a big stretch first.
Oh my gosh.
There's Howard.
Gorgeous.
Howard
Gorgeous.
is a 85-pound Staffordshire Terrier mix mutt boy.
Okay, do you know what the mix is?
Yep, of course I do. What are you talking about? I'm not on this podcast for no reason. He's 50% pure blood Staffordshire Terrier, and then the other half is German Shepherd, Hound, and Lab, and Healer.
Oh wow, jeez,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
No.
Do you see those traits come out in him?
Yeah, because so Staffordshire Terrier is like predominantly, it's like I think it's a fancy word for pit bull.
Yeah.
I'm fine with pit bull. So, pit bulls, they can't swim. They don't really play ball. I mean, stereotypically. But Howard has all of the snuggly, warm, cuddly pit bull characteristics, but he loves to swim and he loves to hunt. And he loves to play ball. So he's like this hybrid dog.
That's great. That's the best of all worlds, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how old is Howard?
He's 5.
Okay. So going back 5 years, I assume we're pandemic
He
era.
is a COVID dog.
What are the circumstances surrounding getting him at that time?
That's kind of a funny question. So my mom's dog at the time was just getting really old, but his name was Ike. Rest in peace, Ike. He's a Staffordshire Terrier. He was just such a good boy, and we were just kind of on her case about, Mom, you have to have Ike train a puppy before he goes. You can't. He's such a magical dog. We have to get a puppy that he trains. So Howard was originally supposed to be my mom's dog. And then I kept him.
But who went to the, again, we're in COVID. So was this an instance of you have to literally probably have to look at pictures?
Yep. It was like
to meet the dog?
Yeah.
Or was it kind of like you foster it for a while and if you want to keep it, keep it?
No, we got him as a puppy. We got him from a rescue on a farm.
Okay.
So we drove, I believe it was in Wisconsin. And we drove a couple hours away and we went to the farm. And at this point, in COVID, I don't know if you remember, but dogs were just impossible to come by. And so we lucked out. We found a little litter of puppies that needed homes off a farm. And we were the first people there. We literally got our pick of the litter. Howard is literally the pick of the litter.
That's great. And he turned out to be the pick of the litter by the sounds of it.
Yes, he really did.
Does the name have any significance? And I asked because you did have a post when you introduced him to your Instagram followers as Meet Howard Zen.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. So he's kind of named after 2 separate things. I was reading People's History of the United States at the time, and I was like, Howard Zen, great name, Howard. But then also kind of the longer form story of that is he's named after a bar on a small island called Ocracoke Island, North Carolina, in the Outer Banks that my family has gone to for the past 60 years every summer. So it's called Howard's Pub. And so Howard's Inn, Howard's Pub, it just made a perfect union. And then the funny part of that story is then my husband and I opened a restaurant and we didn't know what to call it. And so we called it Howard after Howard's, but Howard's named after a bar. So we named our bar after the dog that's named after a bar.
I love that. I love that. So you mentioned your mom's dog, Ike. Let's go back to childhood. Do you have a long history with dogs?
Yeah, we always had dogs growing up. And every dog just they were so special. And there's like, I feel like my childhood is defined by the dog we had at that time.
Interesting. I heard this recently, and I'm hopefully getting this musician as a guest, but he described himself as 10 dogs old.
Oh, wow.
Do you know how old you are?
Well, let's see. I'm, well, 5 dogs,
Okay.
5 and some change dogs old.
All right. Now, a podcast like this, I'm left with only really one resource, and that's your social media. And I thoroughly enjoy digging through and finding bits and pieces about your dog and how you feel about your dog. And you have one of the best posts I've come across in a long time.
Aww.
And I don't know if you'll know what I'm going to go to.
No.
Okay, I'm going to read it for you.
Okay.
This is August 2020, so you've had the dog a couple of months now. It says, sometimes I don't want to get out of bed because I'm too depressed. And then this little a-hole needs to poo-poo. And me taking him out turns into a walk, which turns into a coffee with a friend, which turned into a human connection, which turns into hope and joy. So I'm saying, get a puppy. And I'm wondering, well, now that I know your history, this is kind of what you signed up for. Like you knew they possessed this attribute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very beautiful post.
Thank you.
And it's
the
kind of
a-hole taking a poo-poo is probably what makes it so succinct.
Well, I've heard this sentiment before where it's like the dog got me up and out.
Absolutely.
And you saying, so I'm saying get a puppy. Just speaking of puppy, let's go back. How was Howard as a puppy?
Howard, okay, so this is controversial, I understand, but I'm a big Cesar Millan fan. Like before we went and got a puppy, I read all the Cesar Millan stuff about how to pick out a puppy. And so he suggested get a puppy that looks like they're independently hanging out by themselves when you go pick them up, you know? And so when we got him, he was like just sniffing under the tractors, you know, taking a poop over in the corner. He was like not that interested. He was doing his own thing. And Howard is far from aloof. Like he's definitely part of our family. He like, you know, sleeps in the bed with us and he's very snuggly. But he is just like, he's just of his own entity. Like he's just, you know, he's his own person. And so he was very like calm. He's always been so sleepy and calm and chill. And I think that's always just kind of, that started when he was a puppy. That's just who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a good history with dogs. Did you train him yourself?
I did. He is such a good boy because I'm an artist and it was COVID and I had nothing to do. So I just trained him all day, every day. So I don't know if I'll ever have that luxury again, you know, with future puppies. But yeah, he is such a good boy.
So the Staffordshire Terrier, getting back to that, and you saying, for better or worse, it's a pit bull.
Yeah.
The breed is very misunderstood, very maligned. Do you see people react in a negative way towards them, or just back off, or the people that come to the restaurant and be like, "Ooh"?
I don't really, because he doesn't. His face kind of looks like a pit bull, but his body is like really likey. He's got like a lab body, so he doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, he has this very friendly look about him. Like he looks like when you picture like a kid and his dog from a cartoon, like he looks like that dog, like black snout, matching white socks, and just like uniform liver color, like or fawn color. Yeah, storybook-esque.
Yeah, he is a very handsome dog. I'll definitely give him that.
Thank you. I tend to agree. Yes.
And I love pits. I volunteered at our shelter, which is probably 95% pit bulls, and they're just the most loving creatures. I wish more people knew.
Oh my gosh, they're my favorite breed.
And your son, how old is your son currently?
He's 3.
He's 3. So how was Howard in and around the birth of your son?
That is a very funny story as well. They're so funny. Like they are like siblings. They just coexist. When you like think about a boy and his dog, like I was just saying, that is so not Marty, my son. He's just like Howard, whatever. I don't know. He's around and Howard's the same way. He's like, I got to live with this guy now. But when Marty was a baby, like a newborn, Howard just was in heaven. He's like, we get to snuggle in bed all day. Like, this is amazing. And then he was just like, yeah, okay, I'm used to the baby. It lays there. It's fine. But as soon as the baby started crawling, he was beside himself. He was like, that thing moves. Like, he was like, it's so on edge around the baby. Once Marty started crawling and moving and sitting and then, God forbid, walking, Howard was like skittish around him.
How funny.
Yeah.
How
Now they're like I said, they tolerate each other.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Now, are there any lessons you've learned from Howard and any of the dogs you've had throughout your life?
Yeah, I do. I think, and I learned this with Ike, and it does carry over to Howard somewhat. And that is, I'm always, not to be that person, but always am a proponent of rescuing dogs, before, going to a breeder. But Ike had a really sordid past. He was aggressive towards just men, but he was like, he never bit anybody. He just got scared. And then, pit bulls, generally 99% of the time, a pit bull's bark is way louder than their bite.
Yeah.
And so he just would bark at guys, like, and it was scary because he was like a bruiser. I mean, he was like over 100 pounds, low to the ground, the big, like, bow legs, big old head. He looked like an alligator. And he was perfect in every other way, but we just couldn't take him on walks. And it really bummed me out because, you picture yourself walking your dog or like you picture the way that you think that your dog is going to be. And what I learned with Ike is that, he lived a long time. He lived for a bruiser like that. He lived till 12, which was pretty old. And he was perfect in every other way. So no dog is perfect. And they're animals. They're not people. And you just have to extend them the area that they struggle in. And then it's not their job to not bark at men. Like they don't know it. So you just have to create a world that they can be safe in, and Howard, that Howard's not aggressive in any stretch of the imagination. He's quite a baby, but he has areas that he's not perfect in. And instead of beating myself up about it, like, I've trained, banging my head against the wall, trying to leash train him. He hates the leash. I'm like, he's perfect in every other way. You can't have it all. So just, he's not good on a leash. If he sees a squirrel, he's gonna wig out. It's in his blood, man. He's a dog.
Yeah, hey, it's built in.
Yes, exactly.
So Ike was your mom's dog. Did she seek the dog out? So does she have kind of the same disposition of like, here's a dog in need and I'm gonna save it?
Yeah. So I don't know why they ended up at the dog shelter. I would say once in a decade, my mom ends up at the dog shelter saying she's just looking. I'm not getting
we love those type of people. It's like, come on in if you're just looking. Come on in.
That's her. And our dog had our amazing boxer Gracie passed before we got Ike. So she was just looking, she missed her dog. And then I was like, Mom, we can't get a dog right now. That's always my role in the family. And then she went home without the dog, but she fell in love with Ike. But she went home without him, which was like, okay. And then he was on the news that night as like one of the last chance dog.
Oh.
And she saw him on the news and she went back the next day and got him.
Good. That's awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, let's wind down the dog portion of the show with the Zoomies. Sure. And the Zoomies are 5 fast, frivolous questions.
I love that.
The first one is, do you allow Howard to lick your face?
He does not lick.
Okay.
He boops.
Oh, okay, boops.
That's it. I mean, yes, I allow him to boop my face, and I always give him soft little kisses right on his lips.
Good. That's the correct answer I'm looking for.
Okay, good.
Question 2 is, does Howard have a theme song? When he comes walking into the room, what should be playing?
My husband always sings the theme to Jurassic Park. And then he changes the words and he goes, how weird the cow weird. He calls him How Weird. Howard the Coward is what we call him. And now he started calling him How Weird, the Cow Weird. How weird the cow weird. Did you know that I love you? That's what we sing every time he walks in the room.
I love it. One of the better answers I've heard lately.
Okay, good.
Now, will Howard and the family accompany you on tour?
Howard, probably not, just because I just don't love the idea of him in a loud venue. I don't think his little ears would like that. But Marty and my husband are going to fly out for some of the dates. Probably, I'm playing Troubadour in Los Angeles, which is a kind of our like home away from home. Adam and I lived in Los Angeles for a long time, and like Marty's my best friend. Marty's godmom lives in LA, so they'll probably be out there for that.
Okay, so this becomes a hypothetical question. With Howard touring with you, what would he want on his tour rider?
Oh, probably just like chicken necks.
Okay, that's his
Raw
go-to.
chicken necks. Yeah, I would say that's probably his favorite.
I think you should add that to your rider just to see what kind of reaction that gets.
They say.
Yeah.
I'm on a high protein diet.
Yeah. Question 4, do you have a dog voice?
No, I don't. It's funny that you mentioned that because Adam and I are like, what would Howard sound like? I'm like, I don't know. His spirit is so quiet. Like he doesn't really have a voice.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. And question 5, I always ask if there's a dog organization or a dog service that you just like to give a shout out to.
Yeah, well, so I looked this up because it was such a good question. And there is an organization in Minnesota called 360 Communities, and they're actually trying to raise money to partner with PawPADs, which is Pawsitive Perspective Assistance Dogs. And they want to start training dogs that are for survivors, so can ease with stress and anxiety of domestic or sexual abuse survivors.
All right. That's awesome. I'll pull some of their information and contact information and put it in the show notes for everyone to see and to follow, hopefully.
Sounds good.
Well, you've got some new music coming out.
I do.
Let's give a little love to that, since that's a big chunk of your life outside of Howard. You've got a new LP that's going to be coming out in the fall, The Rub. Your first new material release in 5 years, is it?
Yeah. Pretty much 5 years. Yep. Ever since everything came to a grinding halt during the pandemic.
And a kind of a total life reset. You moved from LA to Minnesota.
Yep.
Had a baby.
Had a baby.
Opened your dog named restaurant.
Yes. Yeah. Adopted my dog baby. Yeah.
So I guess my first question is, how did stepping away to focus on other priorities help you grow as an artist?
Oh man, it helped me grow in so many ways. I think every artist feels the tussle, the internal war with your ego, and just getting a break from that and to get to meet myself outside of who I am, out of the public eye, and just doing things outside of that was really enriching, and it just like nourished my soul in ways that brought me back to music in a more like fully realized self, comfortable self.
Well, you hear it said often that you have your whole lifetime to do your first couple of albums. I don't know if you ever suffered from writer's block or like, what am I going to source material from? But did that time off also, fulfill you with kind of things to base songs upon? I like to call it like refilling the sponge that you then wring out. Yeah, for sure. I also think that songwriting is kind of like a muscle. If you don't work out for a while, then it's hard when you try to get back to it. So there was a little bit of that, but it's like, riding a bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I listened to the album. I know you've got a number of singles that have come out. Your latest one is Mr. Revival. One of the songs that struck me, simply by the title at first, and then I listened to it, was Love Me Again. Mm-hmm. And it seems pretty straightforward that it is a interpersonal relationship we're talking about. But given the context that you have stepped away from an industry that wants 24/7 engagement, is something underlying in that song almost to your audience?
No, it's not, but I love that read of it. I think that's the best part about songs. I can write a song about something that, you have no idea, but it can mean something completely different to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And one last question. Fast forward 15 years from now, what do you want Marty to hear when he listens to this album?
Just his mom. Like, I just want him to hear his mom doing her thing and reaching for her dreams at the same time.
Yeah. And doing her thing, I feel uncompromised or in her terms.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want him to hear my voice in those songs, not a watered down version of what I thought would sell in 2025.
Yeah.
I want it to feel like these songs stand on their own 2 feet in 15 years, the same way they did this year.
Okay. Excellent. Well, Caroline, thank you for sharing Howard with me and a little bit of your life and your music. It's been a pleasure.
Well, anytime you want to talk about dogs, you just give me a call.
I will. And you're going to regret that.
Well, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
It was my pleasure, Caroline. Thank you.
Carl, you're a damn good dog.